As we just heard, there seems to be a shift in tone, at least from what we just heard, coming from the Americans. What do you think that's attributable to?
Well, yeah, we've seen a shift over the past few days. Initially, after Hamas's attack on Israel, the focus and the main message of the Americans was, we're standing by Israel, and Israel has a right to defend itself after what they've been through. Now, over the past few days, you're increasingly seeing they have a right to defend themselves, but they have to pay attention to civilian casualties, but they have to pay attention to the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And so Antony Blinken, when he was presenting Joe Biden's trip, he said that Joe Biden would be briefed on Israel's war strategy, and as we heard in that soundbite, that he was going to hear about how the Israelis are planning to do that while minimizing civilian casualties. So while you're not going to hear the Americans tell Israel what to do or how to conduct their military operation, the expectation is that at least privately there will be a significant part of the messaging and of the talks between the U.S. and Israeli leaders focused on that exactly. Yes, you have the right to defend yourself, but you are a democracy, and democracies follow certain rules of war, or should follow certain rules of war. So that is also coming from Antony Blinken's trip around the Middle East, where he heard from Arab leaders warning that if the U.S. doesn't put a little bit of pressure on the Israelis to conduct themselves along the rules of war, there might be a sort of inflammation of public opinion around the region, of Arab public opinion, seeing that the U.S. is basically seen as the only one that can put pressure on Israel to behave in a certain way.
But the United States, presents itself as a mediator in this conflict, right? I mean, Joe Biden he's going to meet both sides. He's one of the only people that is really from the West that is meeting with, Mahmoud Abbas and with Sisi. And at the same time, it's sending ammunition to Israel, right? So it seems like it's still more on one side than the other.
The U.S. is still very much standing by Israel, and that is really the symbol of Joe Biden traveling to Israel as Israel is at war, standing by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But as you said, not only are they sending weaponry, they've moved two aircraft strike groups to the Eastern Mediterranean to pre-position the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Air Force in the region. And just this morning, U.S. time, the Department of Defense announcing that it was placing 2,000 personnel, U.S. personnel, on a heightened state of readiness through a prepare-to-deploy order. That means they've not made a decision to deploy those troops, but those troops are ready. We don't know where they are, who those troops are, but this order means that they have to be able to ship out whenever they're told. So it shows that the United States is not only symbolically standing by Israel, but it is militarily standing by Israel. Also, this coming after those warnings coming out of Iran that there might be some preemptive action against Israel. So, yes, the U.S. is trying to play a mediator, but when it comes down to it, they are standing and repeating in all of their statements that they are standing by Israel, and there is ironclad support. That is the wording from the United States. So, publicly, this will be U.S. standing by Israel. What happens privately will be a different story.
Thank you for that clarification. Kethevane Gorjestani joining us on set on France.